Hello, my name is Dr. Ruthie, Dr. Ruth Newstifter if you want to be formal. I blog over at exploringintimacy.com and I'm the author of The Nice Girl's Guide to Talking Dirty. But today I'm here thanks to the great folks at Funwares answering questions from moms about sex and relationships. So happy Mother's Day month to all you moms and moms-to-be out there. Thank you so much for all of your dedication to helping us all grow up strong and also your dedication to yourself and taking good care of yourself. So thank you for that. And yeah, if you want to send me a question, you can do so at the email address right down there, AskDrRuathie at funwares.com, or you can tweet it to Dr. Ruthie, D-R-R-U-T-H-I-E. Let's pull up a new question. I collected all of these from moms, and I'm answering them. Some of them, have to do specifically with momming, and some of them don't. Dr. Ruthie, I miss those carefree, intimate times and the carefree, intimate sex we had in the backseat during those thunderstorm days. How can I get that back again now with a spouse and children? That is a fantastic question, and one of the other videos this month does talk about integrating your identities as a lover and a partner and all of those things in with your identity of being a mom, so that all of those things exist. But let's talk a little bit about spontaneity in sex. This becomes a challenge for a lot of folks with time, and there's some really good reasons for it. And it becomes a special challenge with a little extra layer in it when you've got children running around doing their own spontaneous things. That makes it a little difficult for you to have your spontaneous things. So the first thing I want to mention is that when we nostalgically look back on our earlier days as sexual beings, well, actually, we're sexual beings our whole lives. We look back as our earlier days as sexually active beings, in our adolescence or teens or early 20s, whenever it was that you started enjoying sex, or at least having it, hopefully enjoying it. We think of this time, we're like, oh my gosh, I was like rampant. Even if I wasn't having sex all the time, I was thinking about it all the time, I was wanting it all the time. I could just spontaneously say, like, right here, right now. My partner was just as spontaneous. Yes, that's great. I love that you're saying right here, right now. And, maybe you didn't need lubricants, and maybe you, were happy with quickies and 20 quickies in a row, or, weird positions. Let's go to I'm a nerd, so I would say let's go to the library and find all the books we can on different positions and activities. I know I'm not the only nerd like that out there. And we think back to say, wow, where did it go? Did I follow to love? Is there something wrong with me? Can that sort of thing exist in a relationship? And that time of our life is a very special time. That adolescence-ish time period is full of amazing hormones, and our bodies are in a place that is very unique and built for sex at that time in our lives. And that is why abstinence-based education frequently doesn't work. And so those are experiences to cherish in our memories and not something for us to judge ourselves against now as we get older. And this is not a sad story. There's any, boo, I can't do these things anymore. Sex is wonderful in so many ways that gets better as we age, and there's a little bit of a trade-off. Our bodies are different now. They're not as built for spontaneous, crazy, perpetual sexual activity, but there's other things about sex and intimacy that become more wonderful that very few, if any, young people are getting that part of the pleasure out of it. So, yeah, it's okay. It's just the way it is. So the first thing is to realize that let's not compare ourselves to that particular point in time. You may be saying, Dr. Ruthie, I'm fully aware of that. I'm comparing myself to this time in my 30s or late 20s that I would like to get back, and I can't see why I can't. Let's talk a little bit about spontaneity with sex. It's really, really awesome when two people spontaneously decide to have sex and the environment is suited to that, and they have the time and they have the energy and they have the mobility and all these great things, and then they have sex and it turns out great. That's wonderful when that happens, but that is a heck of a lot of variables that don't really often coincide once you're out of adolescence and like crazy and desperate with hormones. So what we need to do is look at ways to create times when the opportunity for sex is possible. So I used to say to people, spontaneity is great when it happens, but you need to plan ahead for sex. And what people said to me over and over again is, I don't want to plan ahead for sex. And I said, but you got to. And they said, no, I'm not going to. I need a different answer. So I go back to the drawing board. I come back with a better answer for you. What is useful is to purposely plan ahead to create good contexts in which sex can spontaneously happen. So if you reliably have certain days of the week or days of the month when childcare is set up for you, or if your kids are old enough to spend time in another room unattended, when you can have that time. If you have developed ways to communicate with your spouse or your partner, and you have a relationship with your kids such that you can step away from the room for those activities, you can go ahead and lock the door, whatever the case may be, or be in your room uninterrupted, and not be worried that they may overhear a little something. And know that that's okay. They're just learning that it's all right for grown-ups to have good sex, and that's a message they should have for their own grown-up years. As you develop those things, you're creating a context when spontaneity can take place. The other really important thing is to not hold off non-intercourse forms of sexual intimacy and behavior until you're going to have sex. So let me say that again in a little easier language. It's important to keep touching each other in ways that are okay to do in front of other people in your house and outside your house all the time, not just when you are trying to get yourself or the other person in the mood for sex real quick. So that means holding hands and snuggling. That means sneaking gropes. That means kissing in a way where you stop and you breathe in together and you really feel each other's lips right then. And doing this as a part of your regular day-to-day life. And this is a habit change for a lot of people. You get really built around all the behaviors and tasks of parenting and all the other things of day-to-day life, and these things slide off the priority. It's time to bring them back into the priority and remember to do that. Two great things happen. One, we learn that we can touch each other and enjoy physical intimacy without committing to sex. And two, we find that we're more often in the mood and more likely to be in the mood at the same time as each other to go ahead and have all different kinds of wonderful sex. And I am not just talking about intercourse here. I'm talking about manual sex and oral sex and sex with toys. And so, if worshiping each other's boots is your sex, great. You're creating the context for that. So redefining sex too, which I talk about frequently in my videos. So if you haven't heard those, just hunt back and look through those and you'll hear what I'm talking about. So what we're doing is we've created a context that is a great space for intimacy to occur. We're having more intimacy in more contexts that we can have in front of other people. And then what we have is a place where it's more ripe for us to spontaneously go ahead and move towards that sex level when we want to. And that's really important. So now we have to make a safe space where that intimacy can happen, a sacred space for that intimacy, for that sexuality, where we're having the base types of intimate behavior, but the more intercourse, more private types of intimacy, we've created a space for that. And then we are more likely to more spontaneously find each other. But I'm still going to say that if it works for you and you don't kick me out of the, for making this suggestion, I also think it's a really good idea to plan date nights. You don't have to have sex then. You're just making an opportunity where you might decide you both want it at the same time. I'm Dr. Ruthie. I will see you at the next video. Happy Mother's Day month. Bye-bye.